I'm not sick, I just ate, so like it's all in my throat. Anyways, hello. I really thought I was gonna make this video like, you know, a couple days ago, but I haven't had time to be alone. But yeah, so I don't even know where to start because I wanted to make a video like kind of updating like what has happened in the past 4 months without obviously going into too much detail and like this just being boring. But pretty much, as I explained the last part of the video, technically my boyfriend and I got back together, right? The same guy that I made like 3 videos about talking to my guy, like, I'm tired, I'm done, I'm this, we were technically like broken up for a month, I think. Pretty much no contact, right? Then one thing led to another, we started talking again, and pretty much got back together. This was like, well, it's like beginning of September, I think. So like he ended up, that's when he ended up coming, right? And we weren't actually together yet. And then like maybe 2 weeks after we got back together, and then he came to visit me here at my new house, October, November. So it was really nice, like those, because he actually like took PTO, so you know, we were able to spend like more than a weekend together, like maybe like 3 or 4 days, I think, every time. So you know, that was all good, like everything was fine. But there was always like that thing that always bothered me, which was just him not being able to make me actually feel like I'm a priority and like actually given as much as I have been given to him, right? That was always in the back of my mind. But since, you know, as I explained before in one of my videos, I just fell in love with potential, and that's kind of how it was the entire time. I was just, he's gonna change. If we talk about it, it's gonna, you know, it should work, whatever. And like there were many times where I would sit down with him like this and be like, hey, like, can you do this? Like, please, like, whatever. And you know, and he would be like, yeah, like, I'm sorry, like, I know I should be better, whatever. And then we would like move on, right? Then it got to a point where since that would get me in such like high anxiety, I started raising my voice. That's just kind of how I've always like dealt with arguments, I think. But not even with everyone. I think it's just with people that I really care about, especially when I don't understand how, if they say they care about me, they're hurting me. You know what I mean? So I would raise my voice and kind of like go off a little bit instead of like being more calm, collected, and just explaining things. I would kind of like project onto him because it wouldn't be like, oh, just the thing that we're talking about is bothering me. It would like be shit build up from before. So it was looking like I couldn't really move on from the things that he actually did to me already. But because it was still the same argument from all the time, you know, I couldn't just be like, oh yeah, you just did it this one time. I was like, no, you've been doing it like 100 times. So like all this build up resentment was like, you know, it kept building up. Like no matter how we talked about it, it wasn't going away. So now I feel like the bad person because he's telling me that he can't talk to me because I always have something to say, or I'm the one yelling, or this and that. So I started gaslighting myself into being like, fuck, I'm the bad person, right? So whenever I would talk to him about something, like, or be like, hey, can you actually reassure me and like, you know, be more present? It would turn into an argument because, you know, while we were talking, like something would come up and I would start raising my voice. It would come back to me as I'm the bad guy when I was just asking for reassurance, and it turned into a whole argument. You know? So now he has something to blame me for, right? At this point, it's not just him being the one that isn't present. At this point, it's him doing that and me being the one that yells. That's kind of how all of our arguments would go, right? I'll be like, hey, this happened, whatever. He'd be like, yeah, I'm sorry, I'll do better. And I'll be like, okay, but like, stop telling me that. And then I'll get angry, right? So then I look like the bad person, right? I started working on that. I would be the one apologizing for screaming and for almost overreacting. And I'd be like, you know what shit, like, you're right, I'm sorry, like, I'm like getting too way ahead of myself. And like, there were times like, yes, I would be overthinking too much. I would like get too emotional. That's fine if he was to like calm me down the proper way. I just felt like I would calm myself down because he's getting mad at me or he's blaming me for raising my voice. And then we like push it to the side pretty much because I apologize for raising my voice and being upset. So eventually I was just like, yeah, this is not right. I would feel better, like we would move on from the argument and I'll be like, yeah, like I feel better, but I don't. I feel like I'm still building up resentment. But I let it go. I was like, it's gonna be fine, because like whenever we see each other, everything's fine and dandy. The major problem this whole thing was like, we're a long distance relationship, so you have to work 10 times harder than a normal relationship, especially when it comes to communication and being present, right? I don't think he's mature enough to understand that and to be at that point. Like he should not be in a long distance relationship. But I've been trying to just deal with it because I'm just so fucking nice, right? And because I'm so understanding and because I'm willing to sacrifice and mold myself and accommodate someone else. I need to work on that and just stop being so fucking nice. Obviously, he would always be like, well, like my love language is like physical touch and being there and whatever. Like if I was present, I would be able to give you more, blah, blah, blah. So, you know, at this point, it's just all excuses. Even when he was with me, he would be on his phone the entire time. Like if we weren't actually doing something that was like hands-on, he would just be on his phone. And like there were like maybe 2 times where he did that and I just got upset and I just left my room. Because I was like, if we weren't a long distance relationship and we were just cuddling, hanging out, you were on your phone and I was on mine, that's fine. I don't mind that. That's still quality time to me. But we're a long distance relationship, so every single hour and minute that we have with each other is limited. So I don't want to spend it just with you on your phone and me just being there like, wow, this is great. So December comes around and I already had a feeling that he wasn't going to visit because he was supposed to go away for a wedding, whatever, and this and that, and family and friends are back in town and he wants to talk to them and hang out with them. Sure, whatever. I just wanted him to tell me, yeah, I'm not gonna come, so that way I don't have that idea in my head and I'm like holding on to it. Oh my god, yeah, he's gonna come, and then something happens and he doesn't. So I was like, so you're not gonna come this month, right? He was like, actually, you know, I might not be going to the wedding, so who knows, I could probably come visit you instead. And I was like, since I already don't trust him being present for me, I was like, no, you're gonna find a way to go to the wedding for sure. As time was like passing by, we ended up talking about Christmas and New Year's. But again, he came up with his reasons of why like he wouldn't spend them with me because this or that, whatever. I'm trying to be as understanding as possible, because on the other hand, me being me, I would have dropped anything just to be with him, right? Again, probably a me problem, but like if I love someone, like why wouldn't, and like it's her first like holidays together, like hello. But anyways, I'm probably just fucking crazy. So on December 17th, this date just fucking, it's drilled in my head. He calls me in the morning. He never calls me in the morning because boy over here always wakes up at like fucking 11 a.m. For me, morning, like for me waking up, it's like 8. So by the time that he wakes up, I've already been up for like 3 hours. So like for me, that's not morning anymore. It's close to noon, like it's 11. But he calls me at like 10 something. And I was like, so I pick up my phone because it was FaceTime and I'm like, huh? And he was like, why are you looking at me like that? And I was like, oh, I was just, you never call me. I'm just, wow. I'm like, it was like I was being sarcastic, but also I was like, I was flattered that he was actually calling me all the time. So I was like, oh shit. What triggered me was that he said, yeah, I was just calling you right now before I forget. Before I what? Why the fuck do you forget that you have to call your girlfriend? So I went off. I got passive aggressive and I was like, oh, of course, yeah, wow, like, yeah, because like, wow, forget about me. That's fucking crazy. Because like, why would you think about having a girlfriend? Like, you know, I started talking like that. And he tried explaining himself, but since I'm already triggered, there's nothing stopping my bullets. You could stop them if I didn't have all this shit piled up that you've already been doing. So I kind of, you know, I kept going, and then I just see him that he's not saying anything, and I'm like, hello? And he was like, pretty much ended up being like, you just ruined my fucking day, like I don't want to talk to you, like that's not what I meant, blah, 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 blah. And I was like, okay, now I look like the bad guy. But since I'm already like triggered as fuck, I just got extra emotional. And I tried to explain everything. I was like, that's not what I meant, but like, bro, like you never do this and blah, 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 blah. So I got very anxious, started crying, the whole thing. I'm trying not to cry right now, but that's what made me so sad about this relationship, that he's seen me cry over he's seen me cry over FaceTime so many times and he just stares and says nothing. So the downfall of this whole thing is that, yes, we have good times and whatever. Oh my God, my voice. But if when I'm feeling down, and you know how emotional I can get, how sensitive I can get, and you're not there to reassure me and be like, hey, like, this made me feel this type of way, but let's talk about it later, like, we're okay, I just need some time. But the other problem was that since I'm so caught up in the anxiety, I want to fix things right away, because if I don't, and he's like, I'll talk to you later, I'm gonna be thinking about this the entire day. And this was, again, like I said, 10 in the morning. So I'm like, fuck, I still have however many hours of the day to go, and God knows if he's even gonna talk to me, because since he's an avoidant type, his solution to the problem it's not him just actually doing the job, it's him removing himself from the situation, right? But since I'm anxious, that triggers me even more, because I'm like, can you not go away, you know? So that's where everything kind of started falling apart. I pretty much got depressed. I didn't feel like I was depressed for 10 years, so I wouldn't call this depressed, but I guess it was just like an episode. I pretty much stayed in bed for almost 3 weeks. I pretty much got up Monday of this week, right now it's Friday, and I was just in bed, full of anxiety. My hands would be sweating all the time, like fucking knot in my throat, my heart rate high. He would text me to say, hey, how you feeling? That's it, nothing else. I just wish he would have, like, at one point just been like, hey, I know, like, we're in a rough patch right now, but I just wanna let you know that I'm still here. I still care about you. We're gonna work this out, and don't worry about it, we're gonna be okay. That took me like 3 seconds to say, right? And I never got that from him. Every time it was just like, how you feeling, and I was like, bad, I'm in bed, I haven't eaten. He would just send me sad faces, as if that's gonna do anything. Like, I don't know how I put up with it. I really don't. I think it's because I was just so, like, again, I'm so attached. And this is the first time that I'm experiencing being and having that anxious attachment style. I've never had this before. At the same time, it almost feels like I was saying just to understand how it works. So what I decided to do is beginning of this week, which was Monday, to start detaching myself. Out of all this, I feel bad for myself that I put myself back in bed. Like I said, as someone that had anxiety that had depression for 10 years, being back on that bed, doing nothing is the most heartbreaking thing that I could do to myself. So I was like, there is no fucking way I'm doing this to myself again. So I was like, I need to start detaching myself. If he does something wrong this week, if he says something that bothers me, if whatever, I might call it out, but I'm not gonna make a fuss about it. If I'm like, why didn't you text me when you got home? Oh, sorry, I was tired. Oh, sorry, like, whatever. Okay. That's been me this entire week. We talked over FaceTime and it's been great. And like, even the first time that we talked again, like, once it was done, I was like, oh my God, wait, that was actually nice. Like, we were laughing and whatever, like nothing happened. But I was like, we were laughing and having fun because we weren't talking about us. We were just talking about whatever. So that's when I was like, yeah, we're just either good as friends or just as nothing, pretty much, you know? It can't go beyond that. I don't know if I'm out of love, probably, I'm not sure. But I just know that this person is not for me, and I should just pull the plug, right? I don't know if I explained in the last video that he was supposed to come here today. He actually ended up getting COVID, so he's not coming. One of the weeks that, you know, between the 17th and now that all that was happening, he was already sick. And for him, when he gets sick, it's like he sleeps all day. So, you know, I was already anxious and I needed him to be present, but he was just like not there. Whether like you know, he was sick, he was actually sick and whatever, like cool, you know, I let it go, whatever. But right now I am so numb, so desensitized, so far away from him already that like my plan was like, if he comes right before he leaves, we were gonna talk. It was gonna be a longer conversation, you know, because I can't just like be like, okay, bye, and like he, you know, he can't leave yet. It was gonna be a longer conversation of me like explaining things a little bit more, but being very calm and just breaking up. If he didn't come because his COVID test came positive, which is what's happening right now, fine. It would just be a call, a FaceTime. And what I learned this past like 3 weeks is just leave quietly. Don't make a scene. Don't over explain things. Don't try to like make sense into them. Just leave quietly. Obviously I can't just pull myself away, but it's like, because we are in a relationship, so I have to be like, hey, I'm breaking up with you. I can just like fucking ghost them. But yeah, just like do that. Clearly this is not for you. This is not for me. I expect more from somebody that claims they love me, and it's not gonna work, and I gotta go. Gotta take care of myself. I'm literally just waiting for him to call me to be like, yeah, I'm ready to talk, because I already told him, I was like, hey, if you're not coming, we gotta talk about this. And he doesn't even know like this, like the breakup or like us. I'm just like, we just gotta talk. And he was like, oh, I can come after my trip, because he's supposed to go to Europe. He's like, oh, I can come after my trip because I had more days off. Nope, I'm not waiting that long. I already told him that me waiting after New Year's was enough. And I even had to remind him that he was supposed to come this weekend. So that says a lot. It's God, it's done. I can't believe I put myself through this, knowing what I already went through, you know? I know that he can be that great boyfriend, you know? Because that's how it started, you know? At the beginning, they all show you how great it is and whatever, but if you can't keep that throughout the relationship, then I can't. And for me, if I have somebody in my life, it's for them to be part of it and not give me more stress, give me all this anxiety, make me feel like I hate myself. Like, that's the worst thing about this whole thing, is that the person that made me realize what it's like to love myself, it's the same person that has made me feel like that has made me hate myself these past like 3 weeks. That's just crazy to me, and it fucking sucks. And that's all I wanted to talk about. Obviously I'll make a video after today when shit goes down, because you know, right now you can see how reflective my hand is because of how much anxiety I have. And obviously just talking about it also makes it worse, but I can deal with this shit every day. I was literally in bed like this with my hands every day, and like sometimes like my room would be cold and my hands would hurt because of, you know, when your hands are wet and then they're cold, it fucking hurts because it's just getting 10 times colder. At the end of the day, my heart is like, oh my God, don't do it. Just don't do it. Just let it be. Like, things are fine. And I really hope I don't cry and don't make a fucking scene, because I can easily start ranting about something, or especially the situation. So I just want to be as calm as possible. And I know that his response is not going to be like, oh my God, please, can you not leave? Like, he'll never say that. Never. And I say this not because I assume it's because he's done it already. He doesn't care if I leave. And I don't care if he's like, oh my God, I can't really show my feelings. I can't really express. I know he's just gonna be like, yeah, I understand. Yeah, you're right. He's always gonna say that. So once he says that, I'm like, got nothing else to say? No? Okay. Have a nice day. I hope you feel better. And I hope you have a great trip. That's all. So I never drink soda, but this is fucking disgusting. But I got a combo from Taco Bell again. I don't even eat fast food, but I have no food at home, so I had to fucking do it again. Anyways, I'll make my video sometime next week. I'm gonna be a mess, but it's okay.